An update now on a construction site that burst into flames in downtown Iowa City earlier this week. Investigators now blame a propane heater and some flammable adhesives. They say the heater ignited those adhesives inside a tent at the Hieronymus Square construction site near downtown Iowa City. Strong winds then carried the flames through the rest of the building. No one was hurt, but smoke and flames caused about $1 million worth of damage. The 100 block of Burlington is still closed this morning. Here's a look at that area now. It's between Clinton and South Dubuque streets. Crews expected to stay closed through Saturday as they continue to work to clean up all of the mess.
Right now, we're learning more about the days and hours leading up to the death of a Lynn County man. The sheriff's office confirms the body of Christopher Bagley was found buried at a home on Suter Avenue Southeast in Cedar Rapids last week. Authorities say it looks like Bagley died from multiple sharp force injuries. Fox 28 News reporter Eva Anderson is sifting through court records to tell us what we know now about the moments after he left his family's home.
A family suffering who says their son was taken away from them is now hoping for justice. Chris Bagley's remains were found buried in Cedar Rapids March 1st. Much of what led up to his death has been unknown after leaving his home in Walker the night of December 13th. Now, a search warrant ties him to a mobile home on Mount Vernon Road the early morning hours of December 14th. Fox 28 crews were there as law enforcement searched the property January 8th, the day after the warrant was filed. Their goal? To find any records showing Bagley's activity leading up to his death, as well as guns and drug paraphernalia. As the family continues searching for answers to how Bagley died, his father tells us he has faith that investigators will find anyone and everyone responsible. In a heartfelt message to his son, he writes, quote, "I hope you found peace and joy, and I hope you've seen that everyone followed through for you like you always did for them." Eva Anderson, Fox 28 News.
The Lynn County Sheriff's Office tells Fox 28 News that right now they can't say if any suspects or persons of interest have been identified in the case. 2 people named in that warrant are on federal holds right now in the Lynn County Jail. Chris leaves behind a wife and 2 kids. Funeral services will be held on Monday.
A bill paving the way for needle exchange programs here in Iowa is moving forward at the State House. The Iowa Harm Reduction Coalition says a needle exchange program like this would give drug users a free and safe space to drop off and pick up sterilized needles. Nearly 40 other states are using similar programs. They help curb the spread of diseases like HIV and hepatitis C.
It's a common thought and misconception that by providing sterile syringes, we're enabling drug use. In reality, what they've seen is that participants in these programs are 5 times more likely to enter a drug treatment program.
We find that many of the patients that come to us have other health factors such as HIV or hepatitis that get in the way of their recovery journey.
If 2 legislators pass this bill, it would allow a 5-year pilot program of 5 needle exchange locations chosen by the Iowa Department of Public Health. It is right now 7:06. You're waking up with Fox 28 Morning Live.
Some shocking new video showing an Iowa police officer overdosing on the job. Find out what saved his life so he can keep saving others.
Now you can get Fox 28 News and weather updates on your Amazon Echo. Download the Alexa app, click on settings and go to flash briefings. Click add content and search Fox 28 Iowa. Select and click enable. Everywhere you need us to be, Fox 28 News.
Welcome back to Fox 28 Morning Live at 7:09, and here's a look at the weekend ahead of us. Going to be a little warmer, going to be 39 degrees Saturday. We are going to see some winter precipitation there, and then Sunday it's going to clear up a little bit and still stay in the 30s. So overall, not a bad weekend out there, especially compared to what we've had to deal with recently. An Iowa cop is okay this morning and back with his family after overdosing on the job. Now, the scary situation was all caught on camera, and Fox 28 News correspondent Marcus McIntosh shows you how a traffic stop turned into an emergency.
This is how rescue personnel found the officer outside the law enforcement center in his police cruiser. Fort Dodge police asked that we not show his face due to medical privacy issues.
He was essentially almost fully unresponsive to the point where he was just very lethargic and his eyes were closed.
It started here on Kenyon Road just minutes earlier when the officer stopped the vehicle Sunday evening. He arrested Kayla Potter for driving under suspension and giving false information. While searching her vehicle, he encountered a bag containing a brown powder believed to be fentanyl.
He was handling the container that this powder was in and had disturbed the container, opened it enough to where it might have exposed whatever powder was in it, potentially sending the particles airborne.
The few minutes it took to drive the suspect from the bridge to the jail was long enough for the officer to be overcome. He radioed ahead for help. When rescue personnel arrived, the officer was in his cruiser, barely conscious, with the car in gear, his foot on the brake. Medics gave the officer 2 doses of Narcan, an opioid overdose reversal drug, in the ambulance, and more at Trinity Regional Medical Center's emergency room. Captain Gruenberg says this just highlights dangers police face every day they are on the job.
Pretty intense situation. From what medical staff had informed us, he's pretty lucky.
Captain Gruenberg says he was told Narcan saved the officer's life.
Mark McIntosh reporting there. Very scary situation. So glad he's doing all right.
Yeah, great news there, and hopefully it just raises more awareness about the types of things and the types of risks that these law enforcement officers take. Not one that maybe we think about all the time, but certainly something that can happen.
Yeah, and at least for all of our first responders out there, they've been dealing with some really intense weather in recent weeks, and not really the case right now.
Yeah, it's been fairly quiet around the state lately, so that's been good. We got a break after that massive blizzard that was out in the west, and now it is just still winter around the Midwest. Temperatures are well below normal, and because we're still in this coolness, we're dealing with snow today. So we are going to talk about where you can expect the snow to fall and just how much in your Weather First forecast right after this.
The following segment is sponsored by Petland.
Welcome back to Fox 28 Morning Live at 7:14. We've got Ron from Petland with us, and these two little cuties. We got a little Yorkie here, and then a blonde dachshund. You don't see blondes very often.
You don't, and I'm seeing them a little bit more and more just because of one of our breeders. I love blonde dachshunds.
They're more fun, aren't they?
Yeah, there it is. I love that. And so, yes, you introduced our guests, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, so these little babies are going to be watching along with us because we're talking about hemp products for dogs.
Yes. So hemp is one of those questions or those words that you go, are they talking about what I think? No, we're not. To put it all, what is it and what is it not?
Okay.
Cannabis is a class of plants. In that is marijuana, but also another plant called hemp. They are not the same thing. One has some fun effects in it and all that kind of stuff. The other one doesn't have that in that. And so what hemp has that we want is the CBD. So CBD is something that is, it helps with aches and pains. It helps a little bit with the mood of things. And so they're looking for it to say, okay, how can we use that for us? So
It's so trendy right now.
Yes. And I'm taking one just to see what is this stuff. I do have a bad back issue or an injury. Whenever I take it, I do notice that it goes away. And so I'm like, I've started and stopped it. So I'm like, okay, I'm seeing something there. The one, when we talked about this last time, hemp, and it was in quiet moments. This is a nature vet product as well as all these. That was what everybody wanted. It was calm my dog down. So everybody has been boasting about hemp that's in quiet moments. So what does this mean? Hemp oil is in here. Hemp oil contains CBD. So there is a calming effect that's added to it. Now, since this came out, they came out with a whole line of hemp. So Hemp Well is also under the Nature Vet name. What they did in Hemp Well was they extracted out more of that CBD and concentrated it up. So if you want more of that effect, you get the Hemp Well products. Omega-3s and fatty acids, they're saying hemp oil is better than the fish oils and all that kind of stuff that's out there, and it costs about the same.
Okay.
So you're like getting something better for the same price. Yeah. So now they came out with that's for a supplement, so something you would pour over their food. They have for hot spots, okay, takes care of that aches, okay, hot spots, it soothes it. This is for joint relief.
Older dogs, bigger dogs.
And they said just spray it on. I guess I could have sprayed it on my back, but we have some people that want to try this right away on themselves.
I'm sure.
So we're thinking, okay, this is going to be really good for the older dogs and all that kind of stuff. Same thing in that omega-3 fatty acids. They've now put it into the shampoos and conditioners.
Great for hair.
So now you're going to get healthier hair and scalp and all that. And then, okay, cats have been left out. but now they're in. So now cats have the full line on their site too. So it's really
The full
interesting.
line for felines.
Okay, you've just come up with a tagline.
There you go.
She was going to do that. We all knew that. How important, going back to what you started talking about, as we learn more about not just what this product can do for humans, but also with pets, to be able to differentiate from this is part of cannabis, this is another part of cannabis, because it can really get mixed all together.
Yes. I've been confused for a while. In fact, Nature Vet delayed the launch of their entire line for a year because they go through an inspection, they go through making sure everything's right. They have certification processes that they go through that most others don't. Brings it up to a really high level as far as efficacy then goes. So they waited until they went through all that, got the approvals, this is what it is, it's not the other thing, and all that kind of stuff. So everything is safe here, don't even worry about it. Some of them, like I said, I'm taking a hemp wool product right now, so I wanted to see what it was. It's the dropper kind, it's concentrated dropper. I just wanted to say, okay, I can tell you, I didn't feel anything on that as far as that goes, but I did feel a relief on my back. I have minor back issues, and so it relieved my minor back issues. So it was pretty cool.
And it sounds like over the time we've been talking with you about these hemp products that you've started to carry, you've really learned a lot. So if you do go into Petland at Iowa City, ask Ron questions, ask the people working there questions. They've been working with this line for a long time, so they were prepared to release it and give you all the right information you would need to know.
Yeah.
You learn a little bit? Yeah, you learn.
Well, it's time to learn a little bit more about our weather first forecast. And Rebecca, it's been, boy, for those dogs that were stuck inside for so many days and weeks, they've got some decent dog walking weather so far this week.
Well, it's at least improving, and it's going to actually get better where it's going to be warmer, where perhaps our owners will deal with being outside for a little bit longer as the temperatures warm up. But right now, we're still locked in the cold, and we do have clouds in overhead right now. There are some snow showers trying to show up in Keokuk County. I haven't seen any evidence of it hitting the ground just yet, but as we head through the morning, we'll likely start to see this spread a bit more and start to see the snowfall there. This extends through South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, into Illinois and Missouri here. And as the system moves to the east, well, first of all, it's very weak. It's lacking a lot of moisture. It's not going to do much today, but we'll see this spread further to the north and east today and mainly see those snow showers near and south of Highway 20, and even higher chance they're going to be in the far south today. So this morning, we're starting off cold and calm. We're in the single digits up in the north, in the teens down to the south, and going through the day, temperatures are going to climb up into the 20s for highs. Everyone's going to be in the clouds. Not everyone will see the snow, and some of us will just be dealing with some flurries. Others of us will be dealing with the snow showers, particularly in the far south today. So snow is going to continue to move up to the northeast as we get closer to about 9 o'clock this morning, and we'll start to see that fall around Highway 30 and point southward. That'll continue through the late morning and early afternoon hours, and we'll have this happen kind of on and off through the day. Then this evening, there will be the possibility of few flurries up further to the north, and you can see a little evidence of this down here, but there may be a little bit of a wintry mix with some freezing drizzle down south of I-80 today, and then this all passes on by tonight. In general, this is not a very impressive system. It is going to produce some minor snowfall accumulations, maybe a dusting up to Highway 20 and points to the south, and up to an inch going to be possible down to the south of I-80. Maybe some isolated higher amounts depending on how the system gets going this morning, but it's just really lacking in moisture and is just not a very strong system in general. We will have a stronger system that comes in this weekend, though, and that's going to be on Saturday. So temperature gets bumped up there, and that gets actually pretty close to normal, around 4 degrees below normal. Not too bad considering today we're sitting 17 degrees below normal. Then we cool down a bit behind that system. Another storm comes in. Temperatures get bumped up into the 30s and 40s Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. So the first storm we have to get through comes in this weekend. Friday night into Saturday, warmer air starts to get pulled in. We'll be dealing with rain because temperatures are going to be above that freezing mark. Widespread rain could be heavy at times through the day on Saturday. Storm passes on by and the wind starts to pick up. Colder air starts to wrap in. May see a brief changeover to some snow, especially up in the north. We'll have some light snow showers today. Dry and cool tomorrow. Rain on Saturday with temperatures in the 30s. We spring forward. We're still staying with winter though Sunday, Monday, and then some signs of spring with temperatures near 50 on Wednesday and rain coming on down.
Now it's time for your Daily Mail top stories. Rob O'Neill, the Navy SEAL who shot and killed Osama bin Laden, spoke exclusively to Daily Mail TV in an interview that he says he believes bin Laden's son is now hiding in Pakistan.
Everyone here is a target. And it doesn't matter if you're Christian or a Muslim. If you don't agree exactly with his ideology, you're a target.
If Hamza bin Laden were to gain more momentum and this became a more legitimate threat, could you see yourself getting involved, SEAL Team 6, State Department, and trying to help capture and find him?
No, I think I'm done. The good thing is we do have people out there that if and when the time comes, they're ready to strike, and they'll do it.
Now, the State Department has offered $1 million reward for information on bin Laden's son. For the rest of this interview, you can always watch Daily Mail TV later today at 4 o'clock right here on Fox 28. Right now, it is 7:23, and you're watching Fox 28 Morning Live. And coming up, corridor creators make autism calming kits. Where those kits are headed now to help children in Iowa. $7:25 now. The Iowa City Autism Community is a group dedicated to promoting inclusion and understanding. And that's why they're donating calming kits to 8 elementary schools in Johnson County. Organizers of the group say the calm kits include everything a child with autism would need for behavior intervention. Tactile objects, visually soothing toys, mindfulness cards, and even breathing exercises. There's also information in that kit on what autism is and how to include kids with autism in school activities. The organizers are moms of kids with autism, and that's what inspired them to create the kits as tools for the schools.
We had been trying to think of how we wanted to support autistic students and other what we call neurodivergent students in our schools who may be struggling with anxiety, overwhelm, sensory overwhelm.
The kits are being dropped off at some Iowa City elementary schools this week. The Iowa City Autism Community hopes that they can help teachers and also start conversations in the schools.
To your health now, and depending on where you live, health coverage and support for mothers is different, and that has one mom for the United States heading overseas and staying there. Finland is consistently ranked as one of the best places in the world to be a mom because of its low infant and mother mortality rates, along with paid maternity leave and its health and daycare systems. For Laura Smith, that's enough to get her to have her baby in Finland.
My concerns mattered. My voice mattered. They saw me. They took care of me, no matter what I look like. And that's something I couldn't be certain about in the States. So,
childbirth costs are also a lot cheaper in Finland than in America. Now, a doctor over there says the U.S. could have a system like theirs, but politics tend to get in the way.
It is right now 7:27, and you're waking up with Fox 28 Morning Live.
It's a proposal from Alliant Energy about a rate hike for its customers, what the company is saying now about what could happen to your bill in the future.
Welcome back to Fox 28 Morning Live, 7:30 right now, and it is National Be Heard Day. I know it sounds like it maybe just means talk a little louder so you're heard, but it's actually for small businesses. It's a day to remind you to reevaluate your business strategy, to get your word out there, and for us to go to those small businesses.
Yeah, good day to have that any day.
Yeah, we've got a lot of them here in the area, and it's not going to be too bad to go check them out.
I'm sure a lot of them this time of year, it's, a lot harder to get people to come in because not a lot of people are just walking out and about, but we're going to get towards those warmer times soon, and it's been at least calm around that you can drive and not be too worried about things. Today, though, snow will get in your way just a little bit. Nothing too crazy, but we will have some snow around. Of course, we know it doesn't take much to create some slickness out on the streets. Right now, snow is starting to creep a little bit further to the north, closer to I-80, but it isn't really doing all that much just yet around Sigourney and Keokuk County. Over the next hour or so, we'll likely see that happen. So this extends all the way through western Iowa and into Nebraska, South Dakota, but it really is lacking moisture. It's a pretty weak system, and it is going to continue to move to the east, and we'll eventually see some more snow in parts of eastern Iowa later on today. Right now, it is chilly and calm to start the day. Temperatures are in the single digits. Up in the north, we're in the teens down to the south, and as we head through the day, temperatures are going to climb into the 20s for highs. We will have scattered light snow showers showers around in the south this morning and this afternoon, and there may be a few flurries around up to the north where we just have a lot of dry air in place that's really going to kind of fight back at this system. So through this morning, we'll have a snow down in the south of Highway 20, and we'll get some breaks here and there through this afternoon. Some light snow showers will start to cover the streets a bit down in the south, and then we'll see additional chances for snow through this evening. We'll talk about just how much could accumulate today in your full weather first forecast coming up in just a bit. But right now, let's take a check of the roads and see how things are going as you're getting ready to start your day. Here's a look at I-380 at the Iowa River, and everything's looking pretty good here. Haven't seen any issues out on the roads across all of our highways here, and all of eastern Iowa is looking pretty good. I did want to show you out to the south and west, though. Southwest of Des Moines, that's where snow is starting to coat the roads, but further to the east, haven't seen much evidence of it really coming down heavy enough to cover the streets just yet. But snow is falling out to the west, and it will gradually be coming further to the east as we head through the morning and through the day.
I'm Lucas Voss, the breaking news desk. U.S. military officials will no longer have to report how many civilians were killed in airstrikes against terrorist targets. President Trump issued an executive order yesterday reversing the Obama-era requirement to provide a public summary of an attack, including the number of enemies and possible civilian targets killed. The White House commented, saying they do not want to decrease transparency, but rather get rid of unnecessary reporting. The Department of Defense is still required to publish a similar report each year, despite the executive order. That report, however, only mentions specific countries like Afghanistan or Libya. The most recent report from 2017 says the U.S. conducted 54 airstrikes outside of Syria, Iraq, and Afghanistan, resulting in 1 civilian death. Lucas Voss, Fox 28 News.
New concerns in Alabama this morning as the National Weather Service reports there's a chance for severe storms and even possibly more tornadoes there this weekend. Parts of the state are still cleaning up after that EF4 tornado hit Sunday, bringing a terrifying 170-mile-per-hour winds and killing 23 people. The good news is all the missing people have now been located, and that number has not gone up, but the state is still preparing for anything.
There's a lot of uncertainty about what tomorrow may bring, but the one thing we flat do know, there is certainty in the resiliency of the people of Alabama. We've done it before, we'll do it again.
7 funeral homes are hosting services for those 23 people who died. 2 unnamed companies also pledged to pay for all the funerals.
And right now, close to 24 crosses are in Alabama now, honoring those 23 victims killed by the tornado. They were made by Greg Zanis, and we've shared his story with you before. He makes these crosses by hand, writes the names of the people they're honoring on them, and then delivers them himself. 7 of those 23 victims killed by the EF4 tornado in Lee County were relatives. Zanis hopes these crosses can bring some comfort to their families.
I've always been going to church, but I realize all the houses and restaurants I've built, they don't mean anything at all. So when I retire 20 or 18 years later, I'm doing this full time, and if I'm not repeating myself, last year I made $5,000. It was a record year.
President Donald Trump is planning to tour some of the hardest hit areas in Alabama tomorrow.
Your question, your answer follow-up now. We continue to look into your concerns over Alliant Energy's plan to raise rates for electricity and your natural gas. Fox 28 News reporter Kayla James shares the company's answers to what customers like you are wanting to know.
Getting a notice that your bill could go up anywhere from $20 to $60 a month is, quite a harsh thing to say to people.
That's the major concern Timothy Godso shared with Fox 28 News on Tuesday about Alliant Energy's recent notice on electric and natural gas rate increase proposal. We brought the chart to Alliant Energy on Wednesday for answers. The company says the notice only shows the impact on the base rate cost.
Base rate will go up, but the transmission costs, the fuel costs, and the energy efficiency charges, those will help bring it down.
Foss says the base rate primarily includes the kilowatt-hour charge and the basic service charge, which will see a 25% rate change. But the company says it's taking steps to offset the impact to customers.
So when you net all of those out, what we're going to see, what we expect for our average typical residential customer here in Iowa is about an $8 a month increase starting in April.
And a $12 increase starting in 2020 if the proposal is approved by the Iowa Utilities Board. the state has 10 months to hand down a decision. The company says this change is part of a $1.8 billion expansion in wind power to produce clean energy.
In 2020, when we have more wind farms going, we're expecting a $60 million savings for customers.
While customers understand the overall goal, it doesn't change the opinions of some.
It should be low cost all the way out, not just, charging now for less later.
Covering the corridor, Kayla James, Fox 28 News.
The Iowa Utilities Board will host a series of public comment meetings within the next 2 months. And if you want to go, you can find a link to their schedule at fox28iowa.com.
It is 7:37 right now on Fox 28 Morning Live.
Up next, new legal issues connected to several charges of sexual abuse for what R. Kelly is facing.
Back on Fox 28 Morning Live, just about 7:40, keeping an eye on your corridor commute at I-380 Diagonal Drive in Southwest Cedar Rapids. Getting a little busy out there, but haven't seen any issues out on the roads. Should be good to go as you get into your Thursday. New developments in R. Kelly's legal troubles. The R&B singer is back in jail today, but not because of the sexual abuse charges he's facing. Fox 28 News correspondent Laura Podesta tells us why he's there and is getting reaction from people close to him.
R. Kelly will remain behind bars until he can pay $161,000 in child support to his children's mother.
They wanted the entire amount.
Kelly's publicist says the R&B singer doesn't have the money because he can't work.
You can't book shows, you can't do anything. So at the end of the day, he's locked up. Andrea and her kids, they still don't have anything.
Last month, Kelly was charged with sexually abusing 4 women, 3 of them underage. He denied those accusations in an interview with CBS This Morning's Gayle King.
Y'all killing me with this. I gave y'all 30 years of my career.
Robert.
30 years of my career. Y'all trying to kill me. You killing me, man. This is not about music. I'm trying to have a relationship with my kids.
The family of Joycelyn Savage, one of 2 women who live with Kelly, believe she is being held against her will.
We went from seeing you or talking to you daily or weekly to not seeing you in 2 years. So that is a clear indication to us and as a mother that something's definitely wrong.
What is your relationship with them?
I love them, and it's like they're my girlfriends.
King also spoke with Savage and Azriel Clary. They say their parents are just trying to get money from Kelly.
This is all lies for money. And if you can't see that, you're ignorant and you're stupid.
The families have denied asking for or receiving any money. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
Kelly's next child support hearing is set for next Wednesday. He'll be back in court facing those sex abuse charges on March 22nd.
It is right now 7:42 here on Fox 28 Morning Live, and a good thing to look forward to, a weekend of not freezing.
Yes, temperatures are going to warm up after we get through today, really. We're going to see a nice trend, but while we're still locked in the cold, we have the chance for snow, and it's moving on through the state right now. We'll talk about how much snow you can expect here in eastern Iowa in your Weather First forecast right after this.
$7:45 at the Capitol. Fox 28 News is continuing to follow a traffic camera proposal, which would give the state some of the money collected from the tickets. According to the Gazette, an Iowa House committee passed the measure this week. That new bill would allow local governments to install those traffic cameras as long as they can prove the cameras are needed. They'd also need to give a heads up to the people who live in the area that the cameras are coming. Under the legislation, cities would get about 40% of the fines, and the rest would go to the state. Those numbers are according to what Public Safety Chairman Jared Klein told the Gazette. The state will then use all that extra money to help the Department of Public Safety.
Former North Liberty Mayor and current state representative Amy Nielsen's filing a complaint about not getting more information on sexual harassment complaints at the state level. She says multiple requests from lawmakers for that info have been denied. They've been calling it confidential and sensitive information. Nielsen says she's not asking for names, just numbers, and that the public has a right to know them.
We feel like, having a baseline of where these numbers are would actually be more of a protection and a help to employees who want to come forward, because if they're continuing to come forward and nothing happens or they're being retaliated against, they're not going to come forward.
The state of Iowa is paying more than $7 million across 4 different sexual harassment case settlements over the last 2 years.
There's also a new push in Iowa right now to give parents the chance to use public dollars to pay for private schools. Fox 28 News State House reporter Caroline Cummings tells us why Democrats say that could hurt the public education.
And I think this is a big first step of empowering the parents to pick the best school, not defined by their zip code.
A bill that would allow for school choice in Iowa is moving forward after a Senate Education Committee vote Wednesday. Supporters say it's about giving parents the option to make the best decision for their children by establishing an education grant that would equal the money the state pays per student at public schools each year. This isn't the first time it's been discussed at the State House, but the scope of the original idea has changed.
I think it's a great idea to start with the special needs students and be sure that we can really help them.
Only students with special needs would be eligible for grants under new changes. Bill supporters say there are roughly 60,000 who would qualify right now. Critics say this would shift valuable money away from public schools already strapped for cash.
We already spend about $60 million a year in the form of tax credits and other things toward private schools. We're already doing that. I think going down the road of vouchers would be ruinous for public schools in Iowa.
If we go down this path, we will wind up bleeding both students and dollars out of our rural schools, out of our smaller school districts.
In Des Moines, Caroline Cummings reporting.
And Fox 28 is dedicated to bringing you all the latest during the 2019 session. You can follow our State House reporter Caroline Cummings, who lives in Des Moines, on her Twitter and Facebook. Both her handles are right here on her screen. You can also see them on fox28iowa.com.
Alburnett High School started this week having never played in a state boys basketball tournament game. This morning, they're a win away from a state championship. Heck of a game in the 1A semifinals was the Pirates took on Remsen St. Mary's yesterday. Fourth quarter, Isaac Mackey. What a game and what a postseason he's had. This is 2 of his game-high 19. We're tied up at 37 with time running out, though. Hunter Case, who took a knock earlier in the game, has got Band-Aids wrapped around his head. He's driving for the win. He misses. He's got backup, though. Mackey put back at the buzzer. It's good, and Alburnett, what a run they're making. They win at 39-37. Pirates getting a shot at the big treasure now on Friday. They'll take on defending 1A champs Grandview Christian for the 1A title at 2:10 on Friday. North Lynn also heading to a title game tomorrow afternoon. After their 2A semifinal win last night, they'll take on Boyden Hull at 4:10 on Friday. Meanwhile today, Cedar Falls and Dubuque Senior are playing for spots in the 4A championship game that's set for Friday night. Defending champion Cedar Falls Tigers will take on North Scott today at 6:30. The Rams take on Waukee at 8:15.
In Black Hawk County, one teacher is getting pretty creative with how to cope with all the snow days we've seen this year. Look at this. What you're seeing right now is a winning photo in a friendly competition between Waterloo teachers. Lou Henry Elementary teacher Daniel Sale here won with this snowy reading break. His prize for winning, Superintendent Dr. Jay Lindeman who organized the contest, is now going to cover his class for 2 hours, so he gets another break. I wonder if he'll spend it inside or maybe go outside again for another little reading break out on the, looks like a pool patio.
Yeah, I mean, it might be because we can't see anything nowadays, but Waterloo is the one place that's gotten slammed.
Didn't they break records this winter?
Well, they had the snowiest February by like over 6 inches, and now they're number 3 for winters in general, and I think they just need like 2 inches to break the all-time record for winter.
They're not going to get it in this system we're in.
No, and the thing is that Waterloo is pretty much on the really lower side of this thing here, and we have a lot of dry air that's combating this system, and it's a really weak disturbance in general, and it's not going to do all that much today for anybody. But yeah, if Waterloo is hoping to break some records with this one, it's not going to be the case today. But it is just a little weak kind of shortwave, little disturbance that's going through the Midwest here and is producing snow in southwestern Iowa. Has been coating the roads around there as well, but up to the northeast, it just hasn't made that jog just yet, and it will, as it continues to move to the east, start to fill in a little bit more around eastern Iowa as we head through this morning and through the day. Temperatures are starting off cold. We're in the single digits up in the north, teens down to the south where the clouds have been in place for a bit longer today, and Clouds are going to stick with us through the day today everywhere, and then this afternoon and evening especially, we'll have the higher chances for some flurries or light snow showers across the area, but the higher chances in general are going to be in the south, and that's going to start this morning through the afternoon. Temperatures everywhere, though, going to be climbing into the 20s. So right now, as we head through over the next about hour or so, we'll start to see the snow move a little bit further to the north and east, staying really confined to south of Highway 20 through this morning and the early afternoon. We'll get some breaks here and there, and then this evening there'll be another little batch of some flurries that'll move through up in the north, and there may be a little bit of a wintry mix down in the south with some freezing drizzle or mixing in with some of those light snow showers, and the snow moves out tonight. In general, really weak stuff here, and really just going to lead to some minor inconveniences today. Could coat the streets and lead to a little bit of some slickness, especially down in the south. South of I-80 is where we're expecting the higher snowfall totals today, around an inch. Up to the north, we're looking at just a dusting near and south of Highway 20. Thereafter, we start to see some big improvements. We jump 10 degrees tomorrow, and it'll be nice and quiet. Then temperatures are in the upper 30s with rain on Saturday. We spring forward. The weather doesn't just yet. Sunday and Monday were cool and dry. Then we will have a wintry mix Tuesday. Stronger storm comes in and will bring rain on Wednesday and send temperatures close to 50 degrees. So there's something to look forward to there. Right now, let's take it out to the streets, see how everything's going as you're getting ready to start your day. Here's a look out at I-80 and Highway 1. Everything seems to be going along just fine out there, and everyone is moving along A-okay down near the Iowa City area. Across the state right now, we are starting to see the roads get a little bit coated in snow around Des Moines, and we'll start to see that happen near I-80 as we head through this morning, so it could start to get a little slick down there. You'll want to take it slow as you head through the morning and the day if you do encounter the snow.
A new report from the Better Business Bureau shows that employment scams are on the rise. Fox 28 News correspondent Anna Werner tells us what those are and what can happen if you end up falling for one of them.
Brad Helding wanted some extra work, so he posted his resume on some job sites and soon got an email from a company calling itself Delta Express Couriers.
It certainly sounded very appealing to me at the time.
The job? An offer to work from home as a purchase clerk, buying electronics in large quantities, then shipping them to the company's clients, mostly overseas. The job paid over $72,000 a year plus bonuses. And Helding says he did his research, checking the company's website and Sacramento location.
It all seemed, up front to me.
The company then sent him $2,000, so he bought iPhones at this Best Buy and shipped them off as instructed. He says for the next batch of purchases, the company told him to temporarily use his own credit card, but provided bank account and routing numbers he could use to reimburse himself for those expenses. It worked until he called his card company a few weeks later.
She says, well, I need to tell you that account is stolen, and you are not authorized to make payments from that account.
When he reached out to the company, emails came back undeliverable and phone calls went unanswered.
Thank you for calling Delta Express Couriers.
It turned out all the transactions were fraudulent, including that original $2,000 payment. Now Brad Helding is out what he paid for the electronics, over $35,000.
It was a horrible, horrible feeling.
He's one of thousands of Americans who fall for employment scams. The Better Business Bureau's Melissa Trumpauer.
Scammers definitely use at-home opportunities because they know a lot of people are looking for that opportunity.
Adam Levin's company CyberScout has been looking into Helding's case, which he says shows indications of criminal syndicates.
Because they're laundering money.
So they get him to buy $30,000 worth of electronics. Then they go and sell the $30,000 of electronics, and they've got clean money.
So now the money's clean. It's been laundered.
Work-at-home job scams are extremely common, and the BBB says you should be very, very careful about them, especially if the company contacts you, as they did in this case. Anna Werner, CBS News, New York.
Some shocking news in the entertainment world this morning. Jeopardy host Alex Trebek announced he has cancer.
This week, I was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Now, normally, the prognosis for this is not very encouraging, but I'm going to fight this.
The longtime Jeopardy host says he's aware of the extremely low survival rate. Each year, more than 50,000 Americans are diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and less than 10% make it more than 5 years. He is vowing to keep working while fighting the advanced disease.
I plan to beat the low survival rate statistics for this disease. Truth told, I have to, because under the terms of my contract, I have to host Jeopardy for 3 more years.
Trebek, who is 78, has hosted Jeopardy since 1984. Most of us, you at home, us all here, watched him for decades, love the show. Just really sad news, but he's handling it so amazingly.
That little sense of humor at the end, he's going to battle. And again, yeah, since 1984, for us millennials, our generation, one of the few voices that's sustained throughout our entire lives from entertainment and media. So certainly all the best to Mr. Trebek.
Yeah, prayers and, love to his family and friends, and let's hope he is part of that low statistic that he gets beyond those 5 years. It is right now 7:56. You're watching Fox 28 Morning Live.
We'll get you the 3 big things in your weather forecast after the break. Back on Fox 28 Morning Live, and it's not a lot, but there's at least something happening in the weather today.
Yeah, but nothing too crazy at least, so we can handle it. I know there are some people not too thrilled that snow's coming down again in the state, but
it's not a lot. Come on, guys.
Yeah, it's not too much. We can get through this one. And I'm telling you, after this, we're going to see some good improvements here. We have some light snow for today. Weekend rain, temperatures get above freezing, and they stay above freezing as we head into then next week. A stronger storm comes through. We could see temperatures pushing 50 Wednesday of next week.
Melting snow.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to see because of that. So definitely prepare for that at your house. If you can do anything ahead of time, that would probably help you out a lot.